Hello, everybody. My name is Evo. Welcome to Luminous. This is my channel. I'm currently streaming on Twitch, on YouTube, and on TikTok, and I hope everything is working. So, basically, what Luminous is I want a space to talk about spirituality, and I want a space where people can connect to one another on a more authentic and tangible way. I don't feel like there's enough grounded kind of spiritual content on these platforms. And I really feel the calling to reach out and to connect with other people in this way. This might be a little off because I'm brand new to this. I've never done it before, but I'm really excited and I'm really happy to be here. Okay, what I'd like to show you is the website that I created for Luminous. And it basically, this is the homepage, luminousangelino.org. And if you go through it, you'll see a little background, you'll see the pillars on what we're all about, you'll see how we serve. There's a bunch of reading material if you're interested. There's some background on myself. There's also a link here to my memoir, which I think is a really good resource if you're interested in how I got to this point. Why am I interested in spirituality and mysticism? And specifically in spirituality in this day and age, in how do you kind of maintain a deep spiritual connection and experience in your day-to-day life when you're working a 9 to 5, you know, and you have responsibilities, so many challenges. How do you still maintain that kind of deep spiritual experience? This is all free. I'm posting one chapter at a time. So that's on my substack.com, and then it's just at Ivo Mehmetovich. And it's all in our bio and our links and our website and everything. Yeah, so if you go to our website, you'll find a bunch of things here. I'll go to the reading page here just because I like it. I feel really comfortable being here. These books helped me kind of become who I am. And I really want to highlight Conversations with God. This this center book is my kind of go-to in my life, and I'm actually listening to the audiobook again. In my opinion, the most straightforward book that I recommend to every single person if I can only recommend one book on spirituality. And the reason it's so great is because they go over basically anything to do with spirituality, whether it's a kind of the metaphysical stuff, right? What is God? How was the universe created? Why are we here? And then it goes to the kind of mundane things too, like what's our purpose if we're just here working like 40 hours a week, right? Our relationships about why is there so much suffering in the world? I really, really think Conversations with God is one of the most straightforward books that you can read about, those topics to really get a good start. We also have my other favorites like Autobiography of a Yogi. This one's incredible, by Paramahansa Yogananda, and that kind of goes back, over 100 years ago, and it talks about Yogananda's life, and I really, really recommend this one too. We have Anatomy of the Spirit by Carolyn Miss. This one's really great, for going into things like energetics and talking about kind of healing and kind of psychic phenomenon. And I mean, I can keep talking about all of these. I don't want to kind of talk your guys' heads off, but I really love each one of these, and I'll go into more detail another time. But these are basically the foundation. So that's why when you go to the reading recommendations, it says this is foundational catalog of books and authors is highly recommended by Luminous. Um, there are going to be more books I'm going to post here, but this is kind of my go-to. I'm here. I'm finally doing this. I've been thinking about starting this. This is the space where I want to talk about these more complex topics and difficult topics when it comes to spirituality. You know, in our culture, in our day and age, we have our main institutions, when talking about spirituality. What have you? You have the New Age movement where you have so many gurus and self-help teachers and all kinds of things. I think that the problem with a lot of these institutions, whether they're smaller or bigger, is I find it very difficult to how does that connect to me who has to live and has to work and has to take care of other people? It can be difficult to find God, to find purpose in these experiences, in your terrible days when you're suffering immensely, when a lot of people can lose their faith. I feel like I've been able to keep it as best that I can through my own kind of trials and tribulations. And what I'm going through specifically, I have CPTSD, and I've been struggling with healing from mental illness and maintaining this deep connection with God and with spirit. I'm hoping that through my work, through Luminous, we kind of give others an insight and some kind of foundation on which they can feel more secure, they can feel inspired on how to lead their life, on how to find their spiritual footing. I'm not used to talking to a camera, so I don't even know if anyone's watching, but um, well, my wife is. She's helping me, so that's essentially what Luminous is about. I'm really here for you. I want to see inside of your imagination. I want to see inside of what gives you hope, and I want us to share that basically. I want us to feel connected. I want us to feel hopeful. And through the sharing of our experiences and of our life, that we can find conviction. We can find conviction in our beliefs, in our spiritual connection, in this metaphysical phenomenon that we call God, right? Everyone has different experiences when it comes to God, right? I have some really intense, profound experiences when it comes to God and mysticism, and I've documented that on my memoir, and that's a big reason why I'm writing the memoir and posting it, is to give other people a kind of window into kind of what's possible and what's out there, even when you're not looking for it, and when things happen to you that came out of nowhere. And I want people to not feel isolated when they have these experiences. Spiritual institutions might be helpful with that, um, but to be honest, unfortunately, a lot of spiritual institutions will always be connected in dogma, or will be they will always refer you to a different reference that might not make sense to you, that might not help you understand your experience. And it didn't for me, honestly. I had to go through many different books and many different backgrounds and testimonies of other people to be able to have a better, well-rounded kind of understanding of what I was going through, what is the meaning of this, and how to understand those different states of mind and what happens when you start to change, when you have these experiences, who you become as a person after you have these profound mystical experiences. That's basically the intro. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm going to continue to do. I'm here to discuss all of these kinds of topics, how they relate to our personal lives, how this kind of spiritual connection, how it's relevant in our relationships, in our businesses, in our politics, in our society, where we're going as a species moving forward. And I'm hoping that it illuminates you, right? That's why it's called Luminous. I'm hoping to illuminate others. I believe that just by speaking about these things, by talking it out, we illuminate ourselves. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do. So if you'd allow me to, maybe we can share some of this this info and we can illuminate each other. It's never just a one-way street. It's always a kind of two-way connection. I really think the memoir is going to speak to a lot of people because it's just a story of a young man, a teenager. It starts as when I was a teenager, and it progresses as I get older after having these spontaneous, profound, mystical experiences, and it goes on and on. So I hope to see you here more often. I hope you can tune in whenever you can. I'm grateful that you're here. I'm grateful that allocating your time to watch something like this, and I hope it's good for you and your spirit. So, God bless. Thank you for being here, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon.